Nothing about our genetic heritage is normal. You think we've always been dominant. You are profoundly wrong. The comfortable narrative insists on milestones. The mastery of fire. The exodus from Africa. You fixate on 65,000 years ago, the Toba ash cloud, labeling it the worst day for Homo sapiens. A convenient genetic bottleneck. Clean data point. But the true bottleneck did not leave clear layers of ash. It left an abyss in the fossil record. A silence spanning hundreds of thousands of years. We speak of human resilience. We mistake persistence for strength. The truth is written in the genome. A scar so deep it rewrites our entire history. 98.7% of a lineage vanishes. Not in a sudden, violent catastrophe, but in the slow, grinding machinery of a planet changing its mind. You are not the inheritor of a thriving kingdom. You are the improbable residue of a massive system failure. You are the ghost of a near-extinction event that dwarfs all later disasters combined. The crucible was not a moment. It was a century of cold. A geological recalibration that purged the ancient world. The deepest scar lies between 800,000 and 900,000 years ago. A time before you existed, before sapiens was even a concept. This period marks the collapse of Homo heidelbergensis and Homo antecessor. The ancestral hardware was forced into a hard reboot. The population across all continents where hominin bones were recorded collapsed to near zero. The mathematics are obscene. A figure hovers in the molecular archaeology, 1,280 individuals. A sample size smaller than a modern sports stadium, tasked with carrying the entire evolutionary future of an entire genus. This was not natural selection favoring the slightly better hunter. This was a forced factory reset. Genetic diversity evaporated. It became mandatory genetic simplification. Imagine a massive industrial server farm. The middle Pleistocene transition event hits the power grid. Everything non-essential, the complex regional adaptations, the subtle chemical variations, is purged. Only the core operational architecture survives. The minimum viable product state. For 117,000 years, our ancestors existed purely to avoid system shutdown. Each surviving small band functioned on critical reserves. Every energy expenditure was dedicated to immediate thermodynamic balance. They were not building tools for the future. They were optimizing the next breath. X-ray the past during this era. The geological strata show vast regions, the African plains, the Eurasian scrub, where hominin bones simply cease to appear. The sediment layers build up. Dust settles on the regoliths. Nothing moves. It is a tomb of silence hundreds of thousands of years deep. The earth has erased the blueprint. The population survived, fragmented into pockets. These surviving lines were genetic monocultures. Fragile. One novel pathogen. One extended drought. Total annihilation. Their entire existence became a battle against the inherent weakness of uniformity. How did they claw back? How did the population jump by 2,000% centuries later? The survival hinged on a single piece of external technology. Fire. The mastery of external energy flow. A desperate, late intervention against the crushing cold. The true antagonist here is not a predator. It is the climate. The middle Pleistocene transition event. A slow, inexorable shift in the planet's long-term machinery. Glacial cycles, which once cycled every 41,000 years, suddenly lengthened. They stretched to 100,000-year grinding periods. The 0.9 million-year event, the coldest, driest extreme of this entire transition, shattered the established biomes. The environment became the weapon. Picture the world during this deep freeze. It is not the occasional blizzard you know. It is a decade of relentless, dry cold settling over the savanna. The available biomass of ungulates plummets. Water sources vanish, locked into kilometers of ice sheets. The air itself is thin, sharp. A perpetual state of dehydration attacks the porous membranes of the body. This landscape demands absolute efficiency. Any creature requiring complex, high-energy resource acquisition faces mechanical failure. Imagine the sight. Not a lush Miocene forest. Only vast, ochre deserts stretching between isolated rock shelters. The sky is perpetually hazed by dust lifted from the exposed, desiccated riverbeds. Sound carries far in the cold, dry air. But there is little to hear. The biological roar of the world dampens. A profound, heavy quiet settles, the sound of systems shutting down. The pressure felt by the survivors was not physical like the deep ocean. It was systemic. The slow, continuous draining of planetary resources. Every decision, every hunt, every coupling was calibrated against near-certain entropic collapse. They lived pressed against the wall of zero. This evolutionary shockwave proves a terrifying axiom. We are not the apex species due to superior design. We are an evolutionary glitch that happened to retain the necessary processing power to master a single variable, external energy. Our dominance is contingent. It is conditional upon the stability of atmospheric physics. We survived not because we were stronger than the million-year cold. We survived because we learned to cheat the physics of the environment with combustion. We bought time with stolen thermal energy. If a slow, agonizing climatic tide wiped out 98.7% of our total ancestral population, an extinction woven into the very fabric of deep time, we must ask the final, haunting question. What slow, planetary calibration is happening now? What creeping thermodynamic shift are we currently celebrating our technological peak while failing to notice? We think we control the engine, but we are merely the recent passengers of a vehicle whose ancient steering mechanism remains fatally flawed.